you have no one, silence becomes louder than noise. There is no phone vibrating with messages. No familiar voice checking in, just you and your thoughts. At first, this feels like abandonment, like the world has quietly moved on without you. But Stoicism teaches that solitude is not a punishment. It is a mirror. And what you see in that mirror can either break you or rebuild you. Loneliness reveals who you really are. When there is no audience, no validation, no applause, you meet your true self. Many people fear this moment because they've spent their lives distracting themselves. Stoicism invites you to stay, to sit with the discomfort, because only in stillness do you discover your strength, your fears, and your untapped resilience. When no one is there, you learn self-reliance. You stop expecting rescue. You stop waiting for someone to understand you perfectly. And slowly, you begin to carry yourself. You make decisions alone. You endure quietly. This is not weakness. This is the beginning of inner power. A Stoic understands that the strongest foundation is built when you learn to stand without leaning. You realize that people come and go, but character remains. Friends drift. Relationships end. Support disappears. But your principles stay. Stoicism teaches that what truly belongs to you cannot be taken away. Your values, your discipline, your ability to respond wisely. When you have no one, these become your companions. Pain becomes a teacher instead of an enemy. In isolation, pain has nowhere to hide. It speaks clearly. And if you listen instead of running, it teaches you patience, humility, and endurance. Stoics do not ask for suffering, but they do not waste it either. Every lonely night sharpens the mind and hardens the spirit in a quiet, meaningful way. You stop begging for attention and start choosing peace. When no one is watching, you no longer perform. You don't explain yourself. You don't chase approval. You simplify. You breathe. You learn that peace is not given by others. It is cultivated within. This realization alone can change the course of your life. Solitude trains emotional independence. You begin to regulate your emotions instead of handing them to others. You learn not to panic when things go quiet. You understand that being alone is not the same as being empty. A Stoic mind knows that emotional strength grows fastest in isolation. You discover that your presence is enough. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, that you are allowed to exist without being needed, praised, or chosen. When you truly accept this, desperation fades. Confidence rises, and ironically, people are drawn to those who no longer need them. When you have no one, you become your own ally. You speak to yourself with honesty. You correct yourself when wrong. You encourage yourself when tired. You forgive yourself when you fail. Stoicism is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming steady. About treating yourself with the respect you once waited for from others. This season is not permanent, but the lessons are. Stoics remind us that all conditions change. Loneliness passes. People return. New connections form. But the strength you build in this season stays with you forever. And when life becomes noisy again, you will move differently, calmer, wiser, unshaken. A grounded conclusion: if you're watching this and you feel like you have no one, understand this: you are not broken. You are being refined. This is the phase where weak dependencies fall away and real strength takes shape. Stay present. Stay disciplined. Stay kind to yourself. There are nights when the quiet feels heavy. You lie awake and realize no one truly knows what you're carrying. not the thoughts you fight, not the fears you hide behind your calm face. In those moments, loneliness doesn't feel poetic. It feels raw. But this is where Stoicism whispers something important. This is not the end of you. This is the forging. When you have no one, you learn how deep your endurance really goes. You wake up even when you don't want to, you move forward even when motivation disappears. No encouragement, no applause, just discipline. And every time you keep going anyway, you become someone stronger than you were yesterday, even if no one sees it. You start understanding that abandonment is not always rejection. Sometimes people leave because they were only meant to walk with you for a short distance. Stoicism teaches acceptance, not bitterness. You stop asking why they left and start asking what this moment is trying to teach you. And slowly, the pain becomes clarity. You grieve the version of life you thought you would have, the friendships you imagined lasting forever, the love you thought would stay, the support you expected in hard times. Let yourself feel that grief. Stoics don't deny emotions, they observe them. And in observing, you gain control instead of being consumed. There's a strange strength that appears when no one is coming to save you. You stop waiting. You stop hoping someone will finally understand. You become your own shelter, your own encouragement, your own reason to keep going. This is where real confidence is born, not from praise, but from survival. You begin to respect yourself more deeply, because you see how much you've endured quietly, how many times you could have quit, but didn't, how you kept your values even when it would have been easier to become bitter. Stoicism is about dignity in hardship, and you are living proof of it. Being alone teaches you to listen to yourself. Your intuition grows louder, your priorities become clearer. You realize what truly matters and what never did. And when people eventually return into your life, you won't accept just anyone. You'll choose wisely, calmly, without desperation. You understand that loneliness is a chapter, not the whole story. Stoics remind us that everything is temporary, pain included. This season is shaping you for something you can't yet see. And when connection returns, you will bring depth, strength, and calm that only solitude could have taught you. Final emotional close. If you're here right now, feeling unseen or unheard, know this: you are not failing at life. You are being strengthened by it. This quiet season is building a version of you that cannot be easily shaken. There comes a point when being alone no longer feels temporary. It settles into your bones. Days pass without being witnessed. Nights stretch longer than they should. You realize that if you disappeared from the noise of the world, very little would change. That thought is terrifying, not because you want to vanish, but because you feel unseen. Stoicism does not soften this truth. It asks you to face it fully. When you have no one, you confront the raw indifference of life. The world does not pause for your pain. It does not ask how you're coping. The sun rises whether you're broken or not. This realization can crush you, or it can free you. Because once you accept that life owes you nothing, you stop waiting for fairness and start building resilience. Isolation strips away illusions. You see clearly who stayed only when things were easy. You see how conditional most affection was. And you realize how often love was tied to usefulness, attention, or convenience. This hurts deeply, but Stoicism teaches that clarity, even when painful, is better than comforting lies. You begin to understand that loneliness is not just the absence of people. It is the absence of being understood. You could be surrounded and still feel empty. When you have no one, you stop pretending. You stop explaining yourself to those who never listened anyway. The mask falls, and what remains is uncomfortable, honest, and real. There is a quiet rage that comes with being forgotten. Not explosive, not loud, just a dull awareness that you are carrying more than anyone knows. Stoicism does not ask you to suppress this feeling. It asks you to observe it, to let it pass through without letting it poison your character. In this darkness, you discover how alone you truly are in your own mind. No one can think for you. No one can endure for you. No one can choose for you. This is the most frightening realization of all, and also the most empowering. Because if the burden is yours alone, then so is the strength. When no one is watching, you either collapse or crystallize. Some people dissolve into bitterness. Others harden into something unbreakable. Stoicism is the path of transformation, turning suffering into structure, chaos into discipline, pain into purpose. You stop romanticizing connection and start respecting solitude. Not because solitude is easy, but because it is honest. In solitude, you cannot lie to yourself. And when you stop lying, you stop wasting energy. You become precise, selective, calm, dangerous in the quietest way. There is a strange peace that comes after total emotional exhaustion. When you've cried all you can. When expectations finally die. When hope becomes quieter but more realistic. Stoics call this acceptance. Not surrender, but clarity. You stop fighting reality and start mastering yourself. You realize something unsettling and powerful. You survived nights that could have destroyed you. You carried weight that was never meant to be carried alone. And you did it without applause, without witnesses, without comfort. That changes a person forever. This darkness does not mean you are lost. It means you are being shaped. The deepest steel is forged under the most pressure. And when life eventually brings people back into your path, they will meet a version of you that knows who they are, even without anyone else. Final, heavy close. If you are watching this and you feel like you have no one, understand this. This season is not here to end you. It is here to strip you down to something real. Something solid. Something unshakable. If this message resonates with you and you want more calm, powerful Stoic wisdom for difficult seasons of life, subscribe to this channel. You're not alone here, and you're becoming stronger than you realize.